I know many of you read the title and assume that this is clickbait or exaggeratory, but it's not. You may not believe me yet. Wait until I show you the evidence, the proof. This is the most unhinged individual we've looked at yet. He's equal parts frightening and fascinating, tiptoeing on the fine line between intrigue and how are they not locked in Arkham Asylum. It's a mystery here. He's like the product of a science experiment gone wrong, like if Professor Utonium added chemical cringe to the concoction instead of chemical X and then created this weirdo. Since I've been down this rabbit hole, this bender of consuming awful romantic texts and bad dating stories and bad dating videos and all of that, this guy is now at the top of the tier list for the weirdest. Like all great fairy tales, it begins over Facebook memes. So he says, "Did you block me on Facebook?" To which she responds, "Nah, my profile got deleted, maybe. I don't know. Lol. Long story." Then he goes, "You don't have to lie." I can just feel the sadness emanating from that line there. I can imagine him looking down and kicking his feet in some sand. And she goes, "I'm not. You can ask pretty much anyone. The profile is gone." To which he responds, "I'm not going to waste my time finding out you're lying to me. So now you're going to ignore me." This is, I'm assuming, a lot of time passing between those two texts. And by a lot of time, I mean probably like 5 minutes because this guy's fucking delusional. So he double texts her like, "Oh, so now you're ignoring me? Now that I've called you out on lying about this?" She responds by saying, "It's not like that, it's just I don't like being called a liar." He then claims, "I didn't call you a liar, I just wanted to know what was going on." And then she says, "I told you and you said I lied, dude." I don't even know why he's trying to pretend that he didn't call her a liar. He can literally look 2 text messages back and see that he point blank blatantly does call her a liar, basically. He's already off his gourd right now. He's fuming because this account that he follows posts memes that he likes, and now he doesn't get access to those memes, and he's throwing a temper tantrum. But really, at the end of the day, it's not so much the memes. He wanted to try and shoot his shot here with the individual who runs the account. He then tries a new angle by going for pity. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Just been going through shit. That sucks about your Facebook." And then he's able to almost cobble together a normal human interaction here. She goes, "Shit happens, it's cool. Just been in my head and your memes brighten my day. I got weird because I didn't do anything wrong for you to block me like that. My memes actually got me banned." This reminds me of like the potion seller video on YouTube a while back. "You can't handle my strongest potions, traveler." But in this case, it's memes for Facebook. And he just goes, "For real? That's crazy. You post them all the time though. It must be something fucked up, haha. Well, if you made another Facebook, you better add me first. I'll be waiting, JK." To which she just tries to close it out by saying, "Lol, yeah." Next chapter in this cringe anime is him trying to pull out the Riz here, trying to showcase his game. "So what are you doing, dork? Haha, causing more trouble for Zuck?" He's going for like the playful insults kind of thing, like, "Oh, you dork, you fucking dweeb geek, what are you up to, huh?" And she just goes, "Nothing, just hanging out." "That's so cool!" I love that with the exclamation point. He's like, "Whoa, badass! I bet you're kicking ass in Animal Crossing, huh? Is it that fun? It looks too much for kids. It must be since you keep ghosting me. Do you play any real games?" To which she's baffled, saying, "How is that not a real game?" So again, a certain amount of time elapses between his first message with the "That's so cool" NPC dialogue and then him going, "Oh, it must be so good you're ghosting me." So this guy's flipping emotions back and forth rapidly. His brain is all over the place. His fucking noodle is scrambled. And then he tries to like make an argument out of this, successfully making an argument out of this, by the way, by calling Animal Crossing not a real game. So he tries to get like this sort of elitism about him when it comes to gaming. So I'm assuming he came straight from Reddit and was just ready to get argumentative about like what a real game is, and Animal Crossing doesn't fit the criteria. "Yo, you serious?" Laughing emoji. "It's dumbass animals or some shit being your friends. No real gaming, you know that." Oh, it hurts me to even just read that. And then she goes, "Well, what's a real game then?" "You don't have to get an attitude, I'm just making fun, dork." "Oh, why are you getting offended? I'm just insulting what you're playing. Like, what are you getting all bent out of shape over?" "Oh, come on, calm down. What, are you on your period or something? Well, why don't you ask one of your dumbass animal friends to help you with it or something?" Like, dork. Oh, it's so painful reading this guy's text, and it only gets worse. It gets even more outrageous. But he's so aggressive with everything. It's like he treats a text conversation like it's an active war zone. Rocket League is a way better game than that, but I guess that's not cute enough for you. Yeah, not enough sunshine and rainbows for you girly girls. This is a real man's Battlefield. And speaking of Battlefield, game like Battlefield, Cyberpunk, Far Cry, shit, Madden, that's a sport. And men like me play sports. I could help you play them. What a generous offer from this guy. Wow, tell me you're a basic white guy without telling me you're a basic white guy. You got jokes. Double laughing crying emoji. All that is casual shit. Pick up a real game, get on my level. I really appreciate that now she's just making fun of him directly to his face. I have no doubt she was laughing while writing all this shit just to string him along and continue to watch him embarrass himself like the clown he is. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm playing around, dork. Every game I play is so much more hardcore than what you just said. Witcher, Shin Megami Tensei, fucking Fable even. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. She started to insult his gaming choice, insinuating he's not playing real games and she's more hardcore. And he does not take kindly to that. Now he gets exceptionally whiny. Why are you being such a bitch? I'm literally trying to have a convo, that's it. And oh brother, it's the worst conversation ever attempted. I feel like I should have blocked you even if I did have Facebook. You're insulting my game choices. Which is all he's been doing is just insulting what she plays. I don't know why he thinks it's just some, like, normal conversation. And he keeps calling her a dork like it's straight out of Ed, Edd n Eddy or something. I don't know what he was expecting. Because they're weak AF, and you're being a cunt over nothing. Whatever. She really hasn't even been even close to mean. Not an iota of malice from her here. All she did was, like, defend her game choices and then joke about what he's playing being casual. Which it is. Fucking Rocket League, Madden, Battlefield. Like, what are you talking about? It's not like you're some kind of hardcore gamer playing some niche shit. You're playing the most mainstream games ever. Like, it's so silly. I don't know why he thinks that she's some supervillain that's just been doing nothing but belittling him. He started it, and she's not even doing anything mean. Does your mom know you talk to women like this? My mom won't around. Why, TF, you bringing that up? That checks out. You have zero respect for me or anyone. You're just a fat bitch who does nothing and leads people on. You're nothing. Fuck you, I was being nice. If this is him being nice, I am so curious to see what him being mean looks like. He immediately just breaks down into his fucking soiled diaper meltdown. You're a fat bitch! And he keeps using the wrong "you're." He never even accidentally gets the correct form of "you're" in any of his statements here, which grinds my ass a little bit. But then he's like, you just lead people on. What? How? How did she lead you on? By responding to you? Granted, this is probably the first woman that has ever responded to a text message from this guy, so maybe that's, like, where things got misconstrued. He thought that since she responded to his initial message, she must be interested. This is so baffling, it's making my voice crack. My vocal folds are freaking out, because it's so odd that someone could have a rotted brain like this. No wonder you can't get a boyfriend, bitch. I don't settle for trash like your baby moms. You called me a liar, shit on my games, play even more trash games. At least they gettin' dick, unlike your fugly ass. You have no idea what you do. What does that mean? You have no idea what you do? I don't even understand what that statement's supposed to mean. Bet you have fucking herpes, you fat piece of shit. How many kids do you have custody of again, lol? How many of your boyfriends died? Which, I'm guessing these two must know each other through Facebook mutuals or something, so he must see, like, some of the stuff that she posts, because that sounds legitimately extremely personal, and if that is a real situation that one of her partners died, that is one of the most vile fucking things you can say to somebody, and this guy is an irredeemable, insufferable piece of shit. Wow, so this is what you do to get girls? Insult them? Again, I was playing, but you had to be a cunt. What do you mean you were playing? Your whole thing was just being aggressive from the start by just constantly spamming the word dork while insulting her playing Animal Crossing. She then continues to just take the piss, so she goes, okay, I'm sorry, I've been going through shit too. How are you at Rocket League anyway? And then immediately he just simmers down, he's back to like good boy status. I understand, I'm sorry too. Going caveman mode. I'm pretty good, I can show how to level up. What's your ranking? Platinum. So you're mediocre at best. I'm fucking Plat 2 and Diamond 2. And I'm trash. In Rocket League, Plat isn't very high. That's where the majority of players end up. So he's not good. He's not good at all. What's your gamer tag? Why? So it also seems like he's lying about this because no sensible person would brag about being Plat in Rocket League. So she's starting to catch him on a bluff where he's puffing out his chest and just lying about his Rocket League rank, which is even more pathetic. I want to see for myself. What console? What's the matter? You don't have an Xbox. I play on Switch. It's on all consoles. So he's starting to sweat a little bit like he's pressed against the wall. My gamer tag? Why? Why? Why do you want to know that? He tries desperately to turn this around into a situation where they can see each other, which sounds like it'd be downright dangerous to be around this guy. Why don't we hang and I can show you? What's your tag? I got trust issues. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, what is your gamer tag? It shouldn't be an issue, right? You're Plat in Rocket League. You're a big guy, a big man. What's the gamer tag? What do you mean you got trust issues? Again, ignoring that. I'm just curious. It seems like you're lying. I'm not. And then she drops a meme. It smells like bitch in here. Which is just genuinely a normal, silly meme. It's not even like mean. If anything, it's clearly meant to be like a joke. And for some reason, this sets him off in the biggest way yet. A fucking atomic bomb in his brain here. And he unleashes the Godzilla heat breath. Cunt. Fuck you. Fat piece of shit. You have no idea who you mess with. Go die. Everyone at Dress hates you and thinks you're a slut. I thought differently. Wanted to give you a chance. I thought you were a nice girl and want to be your friend. I'm sure this was the best way you can do it. By the way, I have a fresh meme. Taking care of my kids, lying to women about my Rocket League rank. So she's just dropping some memes on him at this point here. Just adding insult to injury. To which he responds, just kill yourself already. He's trapped in 2009 Xbox Live gamer zone. He's really fucking struggling here, treading water. I can hear the tears in his eyes right now. Literally feel them through his sad texting. Forever hard stuck Plat in Rocket League and forever hard stuck being alone in life with an attitude like this. What an absolute curse. He just continues speaking like an anime villain. Fucking with me, you slut. Wait, can I not get dick, or am I a slut? Pointing out a contradiction because he keeps calling her a slut and then also saying that she can't get any wiener. So he's all over the place. He's scrambled. Yeah, I'd bet you'd want it after this, you whore. Choke on a dick, whale. Just continues having a fucking conniption. Can't believe I wanted to build something with someone so dumb and nasty. And then again, she just responds with another meme. Like, what do you mean you wanted to build something with her? You reached out about feeling like you'd been blocked and immediately started calling her a liar. What world are you living in? What fantasy land? What? You immediately start by calling her a liar and then insulting her choice of games and talking about how you're like a real alpha gamer, not like an Animal Cross gamer like she is. It's fascinating. This is what I mean. Like, it's actually intriguing how someone's mind could end up so poisoned. Like, it is hard for me to comprehend it. Like, I don't get it. He is so all over the place. Like, he starts by getting really mean and aggressive, insulting her games and all of that, you know, then gets really personal, and then she's able to de-aggro him by talking about his Rocket League rank, which it calms him down, feeds him a warm bottle of milk. And then the second she drops a meme making a joke, again, he explodes once more. It's just so peculiar. Anyway, though, here's the finale. Everyone knows you're a slut. A little fat slut who uses people. Again, this comes out of fucking nowhere. She didn't use you. She didn't lead you on. She didn't do anything besides just respond to your initial unhinged messages. Couldn't get a boyfriend for years. That's because everyone... She keeps going. Got too much time in your hands, but I bet your mouth is filled with someone's nasty dick. And she just goes, yep, not yours. That's the end of their exchange. I imagine she probably blocked him again, which is the safe thing to do. What a creepy lunatic. An actual fucking unsafe to be around individual. Like, this all happened over nothing. Actually nothing. Started because of not having access to some memes that he liked. Oh, painful. I had to share this one. I think this is now at the top of the food chain when it comes to, like, creepy people through, you know, romantic texts that I've been diving through. This one is a rough one. So yeah, that's really about it. See ya. Santa Claus came early with the cringe. His little helpers were cooking up something fierce, and, well, it got gifted under my tree a bit early today, and I wanted to share it with all of you. It's definitely different than the normal things we've been covering when it comes to this romantic rabbit hole of tragedy. The worst text messages, the worst flirting, the worst dates. This one is different from all the others I've covered, actually. So cozy on up with your favorite Christmas sweater, get under the mistletoe, and get ready to kiss your sanity goodbye, because this one is a real head scratcher. For the first time in this goofy little series history, we're getting the perspective of a man talking to a woman here. Usually it's the other way around, where a woman has a really creepy encounter with a man and things go cattywampus, shit pops off, tits up, it's all over the place, it's a catastrophe. This time, we're going Freaky Friday mode, we're switching bodies here, so we're on the perspective of a man who has just matched with a woman from Tinder. They've been talking for a little while and it leads to this. I'm jealous, I want ribeye. I'm assuming they were talking about ribeye. I'm quite the detective, I know. I just have a hunch that that's what the conversation was about. She then continues, lol, I'm glad you liked that. To which he says, I would happily cook for you. What's your favorite food? Oh, you will? I love baking, so maybe I'll bake you a cake or some bread, lol. I love steak, rare or medium rare. I love that idea. When can we make this happen? What a great start. I dare say these two are soulmates. This is wholesome, the exchange is going super well. Looks like they're about to set up a date to cook together or bake together. How could it possibly go awry? The good vibes continue. I'm not sure. You haven't asked me on a proper date yet. To which he says, what are you up to tomorrow evening? This is already looking like something out of a Hallmark movie. This is super efficient, super, great all around. She says, I'm pretty sure my family is stopping by because my sister's in town, but I'm not completely sure. What about you? I see. I've got nothing tomorrow evening. I'd like to schedule said date with you, but I also need to maneuver around holiday busyness. Do you have availability 12/26? And she says, I'm off all next week. The 26th would be perfect, with 2 blushing, smiling emojis. And I'm just sitting here, smiling, blushing, reading this story. Got me cheesing, it's so happy and wholesome. I also find it cute that in order to schedule the date, he conducted it like it was some kind of business meeting, penciling her in and locking it down. And the whole thing is just adorable. So how could it possibly end up in the shitter? What went wrong? Well, let's take a peek. Beautiful. It's a date. Would you be comfortable coming to my loft in blank and we can cook? I have a cat here too. She's lovely. To which she responds, no, I'm sorry. I don't do apartment dates for first dates. That literally made me so disappointed that you said that as a suggestion. I'm going to cut this loose. I hope you have a good Christmas and good New Year. Wish you the best. To which he says, all good. That's a totally understandable position from the woman here. Not going to a stranger's apartment for the first date is probably the safest decision you can make, so there's nothing wrong with setting a hard line in the sand like, hey, I don't really go to people's apartments for the first time meeting them. That kind of decision probably keeps you alive. You might end up at like a fucking serial killer's place. You go over there for medium rare steak, and you end up the steak. Turns out your Tinder date is Armin Meaves or something from Cannibal Cafe. So there's nothing wrong with her not wanting to go there for the first date. But she immediately jumps to being like, all right, we're done here. I'm so disappointed you even suggested it. Even though they were talking about cooking and baking together. It's not like he just pulled this out of his ass like a nefarious plot where he was rubbing his hands together and came up with this scheme. They were talking about cooking and baking together. How are you supposed to do that together outside of a household or an apartment or something? There's really no way to do that, so it should be pretty obvious why he suggested it. And he wasn't pressuring her into it. He even said, if you're comfortable, here's an option I think would be fun since we've been talking about cooking and baking. He wasn't like poking her or trying to bribe her into coming over there and set a trap or anything. He was just putting the offer out there. So I feel like a less aggressive response from her would have been something more along the lines of, hey, politely, I'd like to decline that. Don't feel comfortable going to your place for our first time meeting. And according to the comment section, he planned on offering an alternative because he understood why she wouldn't want to do that. But then things really start to pop off before he had the chance. So he says, I hope you have a great Christmas as well. To which she responds, Jdi du perdele zatrat se. I'm 100% sure I butchered the pronunciation on that, but I popped it in a Google Translate here, and it translates to go to hell, get lost. And I decided to investigate further, damn near having to revive Babelfish to try and get like another translation because that just sounded so incomprehensibly mean after all of this. But the other translation that I keep seeing for it is basically, fuck you. which just doesn't make any sense to me because the guy was just following the conversation they were having. They were both saying like, yeah, let's cook together. And then she even suggested baking, like, yeah, let's bake together. So he's like, all right, bet, let's do it. Let's cook and bake together. And then she just goes, fuck you, scumbag, get lost. So he tries to like explain himself. He goes, for the record, it just seemed like a logical next step in the conversation because we were talking about cooking together. Sorry to offend or disappoint you, ma'am. And she just goes, go fuck yourself, dude. This time, plain English. So that one I understood. And then he just says, very weird response in my opinion. And then she unleashes the demon here. She lets Hulkmania run wild. You know exactly why you fucking invited me to your loft. And it wasn't for cooking. Don't text me ever again, blocked. And then he just goes, we met on Tinder, remember? Wish you the best in getting a date. I'll be warning all 30,000 women in blank about you. Now you're blocked. And he's just like, well, actually, wiggling his finger, blank has a population of 6.47 million, about half of which would be women. Warning 30,000 people about anything is an extremely tall order. You don't even get 30,000 people that heed hurricane warnings in Florida. If she's somehow able to send up the bat signal here to warn all 30,000 women in that immediate area about this guy, hats off to her. That's an incredible achievement, and she should use that power for good instead of evil. This guy didn't do anything wrong. He's clearly starting to take the piss here a little bit and just play around with it with that population remark. But I almost don't blame him because this is such an unbelievably hostile response to something that wasn't ever really meant in a disrespectful way, at least not from what I can see. She just immediately jumped to the conclusion that this guy is only looking to have sex with her. He's not actually inviting her over to cook. He is inviting her over to his place just for some coitus. There would be no steak being prepared. The only thing being steamed in that apartment would be ham. Steamed ham. I'm referring to them fucking. Like, that's such a stupid way of saying it. Mashing pissers, whatever have you. So she just believed that this guy was some huge asshole and was only using cooking as some kind of Trojan horse to get her over, but his true intentions were for a little bedroom rodeo action and nothing more. When really, to me, it really seems like they were talking about cooking and baking together. They were both on the same page. So when the idea of a date came up, which she proposed, the logical conclusion you draw is, hey, we've been talking about cooking and baking together, let's do that for our date. Like, it doesn't really seem like there was any kind of malicious intent behind it, and he never really had a chance to offer an alternative because she immediately just shut the whole thing down, which she has every right to do. There's nothing wrong with that, but it does seem like he wasn't trying to just be some douchebag or whatever. Like, it seemed like he was just offering a date that they had been talking about as a mutual interest. I'm sure he probably would have offered an alternative since she wasn't comfortable coming over to his place. He continues to just get a little sarcastic about things. He goes, please warn them about how a guy from Tinder invited you over to cook the day after Christmas. To which she says, dude, I'm in multiple groups totaling over 500,000. With your face, LMAO, you won't be getting no play unless you pay. Good riddance, roach. Honestly starting to sound like the Navy SEALs copy pasta. I've got over 500 confirmed blocks, and I will have your face plastered in the papers for 500,000 people to see. I'm part of every goddamn Facebook group on the East Coast, and they'll all know your name, villain. He just says, lol, roach. She continues, and I will, 2 exclamation points. It's like she's giving like a big speech in front of an auditorium. I'll let them know you tried to fucking invite me to your pathetic ass apartment for an easy lay masquerade as a cooking date. Yeah, we aren't stupid. Even your fucking hairline ran from you. Now sit back and enjoy being alone. And he just goes, I hope you find peace and love. Yeah, I mean, what else can you do except pray for happiness for her? Like, this went south so quick out of nowhere, and I don't think it needed to. They could have just said, like, not comfortable, are you open to anything else? And if he tried to be pushy about it, like, no, you have to come to my apartment, then all of this is a totally reasonable thing to say. Like, no, you clearly just want to fuck, get out of here, get lost, scram, Buster, you know, hit the road, take a hike. But she didn't even get that far. She immediately just jumped to this assumption that this guy is a piece of shit and he needs to go to hell and get lost. And now apparently she's going around putting up wanted posters like it's One Piece with a 5 billion berry bounty on this guy's head, all because he had the gall to invite her over for a cooking date that both of them were discussing together. I just don't really know how she'd even frame this as a bad guy to her 500,000 person group that she's a part of. I don't even know what group that would be. That's like a wildly large group to be a part of, and I can't imagine she has like a power position there where she can put out an APB on this guy or something. But even still, I don't really know how you could even spin this guy as a horrible person. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to cover this one. This one's different from the norm that we usually go over here, so that's really about it. See ya. Good morning, everyone. I hope the holiday season has been kind to you. As we approach the new year, I wanted to bestow upon you some sage wisdom. As we get into 2024, I imagine many of you are going to choose a New Year's resolution to be more confident, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like when you go a little too hog wild and immediately blow it and pretty much fail the New Year's resolution before it even begins. This exchange was shared today. The two people here have met a few times and there was nothing odd about any of it. Now, out of the blue, this guy says, "Can I say something weird?" and then sends that face. When that face hits the text messages, you know shit is about to go downhill immediately. Nothing good ever comes from seeing that face. It's like Bloody Mary in the mirror. But she says, of course, with an exclamation point, almost excited to hear what weird thing he's about to explain. So he goes, He starts charging up his Kamehameha here. He's about to drop a fucking nuclear bomb on this conversation and this friendship. So here it comes. Happy New Year. I just saw a post celebrating fat beauty, and you were the fat beauty closest to the top of my contacts, and then drops this hot emoji here. So I just wanted to check in and say hi. And they say chivalry's dead. If that line doesn't get you laid, nothing will. Flirting has never looked so good. So how did she respond to this silver-tongued devil? Holy fucking hell. We'll just casually act like you didn't just say that. And he's dumbfounded. He can't process what went wrong here. He goes, I understand how that was the wrong thing for me to say. Actually, I don't. Please explain how I can prevent making someone uncomfortable in the future. It's like an exit survey after customer service experience. What did you appreciate and what did you not appreciate? How can we improve in the future? I have no doubt this was the last thing she was expecting after saying that she'd like to hear something weird. But anyway, I'll go ahead and break it down for you, brother, on where this bulletproof strategy went awry. Let me give you like a counterexample maybe to help illustrate the point. Let's say there was someone I was talking to that I was somewhat romantically interested in, and I opened this conversation by saying, hey, so I just read this post about stupid bitches, so naturally I thought of you. How are you? It wouldn't exactly go over well now, would it? So you coming out of the blue, guns blazing, calling her fat, is not exactly the compliment that you may have thought it was. But anyway, there is another series of text messages I wanted to talk about because it had me giggling this morning. There was an individual giving away 100 articles of clothing, and somebody wanted to come claim them. But things really took a turn for the worst. It starts innocent enough. Are the clothes available? To which they say, yes, please God, take them. Very clearly wanting to get rid of all of these clothes. And then they ask for the location. After receiving the coordinates to the rendezvous, they ask, can you meet me in blank? So meeting at a different location that's a little closer to them. To which they understandably say, no, I'm not meeting for free stuff. And then say, I can go view $10 to brung them, okay? And they just say no again. It's an almost adorable sentence. I can go view $10 to brung them. It's like baby talk in text message format. It reminds me of the dialogue in the game Bugsnax. Now, this individual clearly does not want to drive out of their way to deliver free stuff to this person, not even for $10, because that's a wild inconvenience to them. They're giving away the free stuff. If you want it, it should be on you to come get it. Like, it's not their responsibility to drive an hour out of their way to deliver it to this stranger. Jesus, thanks. Keep them then. I have a newborn Jesus, which is a huge statement to make. We've got Jesus Christ coming back for round 3, I guess, because she just gave birth to him. I don't have time to waste it. Do you want them gone or not? I don't know why she's trying to flip this around and haggle with this individual who's trying to give away the free clothing. Like, obviously, they want them gone, but they're not going to drive an hour out of their way to get rid of them. It's not that big of a deal. Whoever wants them can come get them, and if no one comes and gets them, I'm sure they would have no problem just donating them to, like, Goodwill or something. This lady has no leverage in this negotiation here whatsoever. So do you want them gone or not? Your only option is to bring them an hour over here to me. Like, no, clearly that's not the only choice to be making here. That's the bad ending. That's like the stupid ending. If you do that, you have done a big fucking blunder. They say, I do, but I'm not driving an hour round trip. If you want them, you'll get them. If not, someone else will. The brass tacks, the cold hard facts, the cold water. That is the truth right there. If you want them, come get them. If you don't, someone else will. They then ask for the address and then say, it's not that far from blank, and blank is 10 to 15 minutes from blank. Everything's redacted here like a CIA document, so it's a little hard to keep up with. But they're still trying to find a way for them to bring the clothes closer to them so it's more convenient for them to pick up the free shit. They say, I live closer to blank, so 50 minutes, so yeah, you could meet me to blank. That would help us both. Thanks if you would be nice. And they just, again, say no. This sets her off, and she goes, bitch, have a good day. I have kids, me and I live further than you, and I was ready to pay, have a good day. To which they say, I have kids too, doesn't make you special. I ask because everything expensive, I would drive down me for someone, obviously English people are actually asshole. Anyway, I wouldn't be like you, me, I would do halfway for someone that's need it. Obviously you have money, so you don't give a shit apka about any but yourself. You were rude. That's also what I didn't like. Instead of figuring something out for both of us as well, so you're mama person, not me? I'm not sure what that word is because it's blocked by the arrow. One of the most difficult to read statements I've ever read since trying to read Finnegan's Wake. I recognize English may not be her first language here, but goodness gracious, that was a lot to try and get a grasp on here. So I believe what she's trying to say is that if the roles were reversed, and she was the one giving away free clothes, she would have no problem driving an hour out of her way to give them to someone. Which is a load of dirty barnacles. What a fucking load of fish paste. What are you talking about? You won't even drive over here and get the free clothes that she's offering. You're making a big stink about it. So how the fuck am I supposed to believe that you would drive an hour out of your way to bring someone else free clothes when you won't even go here to get them without making a huge deal out of trying to get her to come to you instead? What a ridiculous statement. What an outright fucking lie. You're telling a fib. And liars will go to hell because it's a sin. She also wasn't rude, by the way. She's giving away free clothes and you're trying to take advantage of her kindness and try and push her to do even more for you, for your own convenience. You are the rude asshole, not the person giving away the free clothes. I know things are expensive, that's why I'm giving these away, but I'm not spending time driving to meet someone just to give them away. Like, would you? I would have paid with the only little money I have, so thanks. Yes, I would. Thanks. Go to church. What are you talking about? She's not asking for money and she doesn't need you to gove her $10 to brung them. Like that, just go get the clothes. She is already giving these things away for free. Just go get them instead of trying to shame her for not driving an hour out of her way for a fucking stranger who's too lazy to go do it herself. Like, that is entirely a you problem, not her. And I don't know why you're trying to tell her to go to church. Why don't you go to church, plant your ass in one of the pews and pray for forgiveness for one of the 7 deadly sins of sloth, because you're so fucking lazy that you won't go do the bare minimum and instead start being an asshole to this person who's just giving away free clothes. The conversation concludes with, I definitely do not have money, what an assumption, go to hell. And she goes, great, exactly, shouldn't say that word. What are you talking about? You literally called her a bitch like 3 messages ago. What, saying bitch is okay but not hell? HE double hockey sticks is too far? What is going on? How can you be such a miserable piece of shit? Like, this person is already giving away free clothes. And instead of going to get them and saying thank you, you try and shame them into driving an hour out of their way for your own convenience. How can you be so selfish? The entitlement here is absolutely incomprehensible. I just had to talk about it. This one had me giggling, but also fuming a little bit. Just trying to understand how people like this exist. This is free items that you are making a huge problem out of because they won't drive an hour out of their way for you for it. It's so crazy to me. But anyway, yeah, I just want to talk about these a little bit. That's it. See ya. The specimen I'm about to expose you to is extraordinarily cringe, like this SCP weirdo that I'm about to unleash before your eyes. But I want you to take this as an inspirational motivator because somehow this goober was able to get into a serious relationship for the last 7 months. And if he can do it, anybody can. Alright, now let's begin our journey. This is a 26-year-old woman communicating with her 29-year-old boyfriend. Now, the previous night they had an argument, which we'll get into in a moment because it's crucial to the lore here of what unfolds. Now, this is the next day. She says, "Had some honey chicken with rice and broccoli from blank. How about you?" He responds with a Naruto gif, which is already an incredible start here, and goes, "That sounds good. I had a muffin and cheese, lol, by the way. The call yesterday really sucked, but the New Year's Eve call was very nice." She says, "I know, lol." And then for some reason he decides to pour salt in the wound. He just digs the knife a little deeper, letting her know that it was probably the worst call he's had, lol. To which she responds, "Alrighty. Well, that makes me feel great. I'm heading to bed. Love you, good night." For some reason he thought it was a good idea just to remind her how much he disliked talking to her last night about what they were discussing. Oh man, that call last night, that was the pits. Jesus Christ, am I right, you fucking harpy? Last night's call was horrible. The New Year's Eve call was a little bit better, but goodness gracious, heavens to Betsy, the call before that, fucking atrocious. And then he'll probably drop another Naruto gif. This time it's like an Itachi one casting a genjutsu. Don't ever do it again. But anyway, the argument they had on the call before these text messages was about her mentioning that she might want to try shrooms at some point. It was basically talking about drugs and how she's not interested in drugs, but the only one she has even an iota of interest in trying is shrooms, like one time. And he took a very hard stance against that. It was like he was a fucking DEA agent here. I'll drop the information right here if you want to pause and read it, but the gist of it is, she mentioned that shrooms at least sounded somewhat interesting to try at some point, though she was never really being serious about it, and if she ever did want to try it, she said that she would talk to him about it first before doing anything. It wasn't going anywhere, and eventually she just said, "You're right, I'm wrong, sorry," and tried to move on from the whole conversation. But it looks like that was never in the cards. It's weighed heavy on the mind of her boyfriend, who brings it up out of the blue again, just to remind her how awful the conversation was. In the follow-up message, he decides to just go whole hog and let it all hang out here to just reignite this argument. He says, "Yes, I say wrong stuff to you sometimes. I know I make mistakes, but not this time. I stand by what I said yesterday, and this time you were in the wrong. But I'm heading to bed. I love you. Good night." And she reminds him, like, "Hey, we fully discussed this last night. There was no reason to bring it up again except to attempt to make me feel bad. Just because you're in a bad mood doesn't mean you should try to bring me down with you." She's 100% right. They had already discussed it. There is no reason to keep doing this again, this song and dance. Just let it be. But he just can't do that. "I know, but this is serious shit." And then he censors the word shit. He puts stars on his swear word, like he's a 12-year-old in Twitch chat that has the language filter on. This is a 29-year-old man who is censoring the word shit. And we've only just begun with the exceptionally wacky stylings of this 29-year-old fucking goober. If you use any substitute, I am done with you. And I'm sorry I say this because I care about you too much, and you're much worth more. And you're much worth more. I don't, that's all over the place. I think he was just so angry. I mean, he dropped the word shit. You could tell his temper was flaring up. He used a naughty word. So I think he was just scrambling to say words in a panic. And then she just goes, "I'm not talking about this." It's fine if you don't have the mouth of a sailor, but why censor it? Just don't even use the word. You could have said poop. This is some serious poop, m'lady. You're talking about drugs. Unacceptable. Why even bother censoring yourself? Oh, it's so cringe. And we've only just begun. She says there's no reason to go over this again. We talked about it. It's over. Drop it. Really just trying her best to move on from this because it's only going to get worse. But he's already too deep. He's already made his bed and it's time to piss his pants in it. "Okay, but promised me you won't do it and I will drop the whole thing." She again reminds him, "I already fucking told you I wouldn't do anything without talking to you first. Leave it alone. I'm done with this conversation." But it's just not registering in his mind. His neurons are just firing and he's going into flight or fight mode and he's fighting his own demons here. Don't get angry at me just because you had a drug problem in past. That's not my problem. That's your problem. Which is a crazy fucking thing to say to your significant other. Jesus. And she goes, "Bro, you're being dense right now. Just shut up and leave it alone. This isn't a conversation to be had over text, and we already talked about it on the phone. Just drop it, dude." Now, if you pause to read the explanation for the context around these messages, you'll know that the drug problem he's referring to is her smoking weed when she was 19, and the one time she tried cocaine. That's the drug problem to this guy. He speaks as if he's like a 14-year-old boy who just had a class on Dare, and now he is scared. He can't sleep anymore. He has to go to bed with one eye open and Narcan on the dresser next to him, just in case a burglar comes in and tries to force him to OD on drugs. Like drugs are out to get him and everyone he cares about. And he just keeps spiraling. You have to change that blank. He's literally beeping himself with a sensor. You have to change that beep, stupid attitude. And I'm not your beep, bro. And I'm not your beep, dude. Maybe that's why wow, that's hard to read. The grammatical catastrophe that he's unleashed upon my eyes is really fucking with my brain. I'm not your beep, dude. Maybe that's what you're call your beep friends. I don't give a beep. I'm not your beep friend. I'm not your beep. X is beep. Remember that. Like, what in the world is happening? This is the most childish text message I've ever seen in my life. It's like a kid melting down on League of Legends. This is a 29-year-old man. And he's speaking like this. He's a fucking boy. He's a baby boy. Why is he censoring his texts like this? Oh, it's so awful. It's so bad. I can't even parse what he's trying to say with his last statement there at the end. I'm not your fucking friend, which is, again, a wild thing to say to your significant other. You're supposed to be their best friend, basically. That's the whole point of being in the relationship, but whatever. But this is where it gets extraordinarily confusing. And I'm not your fucking ex's blank. Remember that. Your ex's what? Your ex's fuck? Remember that? Is that what he's saying? I don't know. What does that mean? And she says, I don't know what your problem is, but directing at me is not going to help. I'm not talking about this. I'm done responding for the night. Have a good one. And he just goes, we done. If you keep going. So full-blown caveman mode now. I will drop it now. Anyway, how's your day? From all of this into like immediately de-aggroing like an NPC in a video game. And he's like, oh, so how's your day? Did you have a good day today? I bet you did. I bet it's better now that you're talking to me, right? And then her response is, it was better before you started this. And then that once again sends him off. Well, that's your problem. I just don't want to crackhead girlfriend, and please don't call me bro. I'm not your stupid friends. What the crackhead girlfriend? What are you talking about? She mentioned that the only drug she'd be interested in trying is shrooms, and she wouldn't even actually do it because she doesn't have a real interest. That's just the only one that even sounded somewhat appealing. He's lost his marbles. He's off his gourd for this. And eventually she's like, just go to bed. You need a nap. You're not you when you're tired. And then he hits her with like a threat. It'll be really funny when you're 6 feet under. And she goes, oh boy, here we go again. And he says, anyway, enough of this. Now, I think he's referring to, if you try drugs, you're dead instantly. You'll instantly die if a drug touches your body. It'll put you 6 feet under instantaneously. Like, I don't know if he's actually threatening that he'll put her 6 feet under, but that is kind of how it reads. But I think what he's trying to say is that the drugs are going to kill her. And he's the only one that can save her from going down this destructive path. Now, obviously, and here's a hot take, drugs aren't good for you. But what he's doing here is an outrageous overreaction, and the way he's treating his girlfriend is unacceptable. He's just yelling and screaming at her like it's an episode of fucking Scared Straight. All over her going over a hypothetical of if she was to ever try a drug, she'd want it to be shrooms because that's the only one that sounds even somewhat interesting, but she doesn't even want to do it. She's not saying she's going to go do shrooms or anything like that. She's not going down this path to being a crackhead like he thinks she is. This is just ridiculous the way he's treating her over this. And don't even get me started on his potty mouth, all those nasty words he's been using here. But luckily for all of us, he's tastefully censored all of them for us. Clearly don't respect me. You think I'm a joke when I'm saying the truth. I wish just once you just listen to me. I think you're a joke, buddy. I'll say it. She won't, but I will. I think you are fucking cringe incarnate. She says, I'm listening. I'm just tired of you repeating it over and over. When this whole thing was finished last night, of course I don't want to hear it again. I dropped it. You should too. Leave it alone. And then he tries to play the saint again, like he's just looking out for her and it's all for her benefit. He's the angel. You know I say this because you are very important to me. Maybe no one tells you this, but I'm the first to tell you. And I always stick with my words. That's what I have to say. And I'm sorry if you hurt, but I had to say it. What a fucking hero. There's better ways of saying it. And apparently you'd already had this conversation the night before, and everything was settled then, but you just keep going. And she said, you didn't have to say it, lol, but okay, whatever makes you feel good. And now the demon comes back out again. Fuck do that, beep attitude. I'm telling you, if you keep doing this, I'm trying to be understanding, but you give me beep disrespect. Answer, I'm done with you. Fuck off. This mumbo-jumbo nonsense. Like, it's the episode of SpongeBob with the sailor words, basically, and he's censoring it in the text. It's so awful. And she goes, just remember, you brought this up, you started, I told you I wasn't talking about it anymore, but you're pushing it, I don't know what else to tell you. She is trying so hard just to move on from this. Like, just give it up, just stop. Why does he keep going? Just stop. And then he drops another extremely mean, nasty insult, saying, no wonder your friend left you and your exes left you. What a huge piece of shit, just a horrible thing to say to anyone, let alone the person you are dating. And then she just goes, ouch, yeah, fuck you. And then he comes back with another confusing head scratcher. I was ready to drop it, but you keep fuck give me, bitch, just stop now. What am I reading? What is that sentence? Oh, man. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. And then he's like, ooh, that wasn't nice and I'm sorry. So he has an immediate change of heart within 2 minutes. And then he's like, he goes full apology mode here to try and save this, even though it's unsalvageable. This is where the relationship should end 100%. He goes, I'm sorry for being an beep. I should have never said that. That was my fault. I really apologize. And thankfully, she shoots that garbage down. I really don't want to hear from you. Good night. And then he tries again to go really sweet talking, like, oh no, it's all a misunderstanding. Baby, I'm really sorry. That part I said, I didn't mean it. I'm really sorry. Anyway, baby, I'm so sorry. I should have thought more about your feelings, and at that time I wasn't thinking, in that part I said was really not nice, but I love you. So he signs off with yet another completely incomprehensible, dumb, stupid text. But at least there was no censoring in the last part. He didn't use any foul language that needed to be, censored, because he's a classy guy. He wouldn't want any of those yucky words being uncensored in these texts. But yeah, as far as I can tell, she is planning on leaving him, according to the comments, I think. She said she's not going to give him another chance to show this side of him, which is good, because this relationship shouldn't continue past this point. That right there is the kibosh on it with the things he said about this. She didn't do anything wrong. She was just talking about a hypothetical. If she was to try a drug again, it would be shrooms because it's the only one that seems even somewhat interesting. But she even said multiple times she didn't want to, and she wasn't planning on it anytime at all, really. And this guy just had this crazy overreaction to it. So yeah, huge weirdo, big cringe guy. That's about it. So yeah. Hello, and welcome back to Weirdos in the Wild. The best way to start your morning is with a big frown on your face, so get ready to wear that with pride. We've got some really interesting specimen here today, so let's go ahead and take a peek at our first one. Our first journey begins with a cold call here like a telemarketer. This guy reaches out saying, hey, remember me? And get used to seeing me spelled that way, because he only speaks about himself as if he's talking through the We Me channel from back in the day. And she responds by saying, hey, I think so, from blank, which is middle school. So they knew each other in middle school, and I'm assuming it's been quite some time since then, because then a couple months later he reaches out again saying, hey, you have kids yet? It's already off to an odd start. They're clearly into their adult years here, and this guy's thinking about her from middle school, and then reaches out a couple months after making initial contact just to ask if she has kids currently. And it only gets more strange from here. She responds saying, hey, I don't have kids yet, why do you ask? He goes, just asking, you have a boyfriend? I do have a boyfriend. Do you have a girlfriend? Can I tell you something? And that's how you know this is about to go straight into the shitter here. That question, can I tell you something, always seems to precede the most foul thing you'll ever hear in your life. I've read so many of these texts and watched so many bad romance videos recently that this is one of the more concerning questions you could be asked. Can I tell you something? Or some variation of it. I'll also just never understand the purpose of typing something like that. Just fucking spit it out. Say it with your whole chest here. What's the point in acting like some kind of shy anime girl. Oh, can I tell you something? Like, what's the response going to be to that? No? You've made it impossible for someone to shoot that down because then the conversation immediately gets hostile. So everyone has to say, like, yeah, I guess you can tell me something. So just do it. Rip the band-aid off. You're going to say something ridiculous anyway. Just say it without asking for permission because we all know you're just going to fucking blabber about it anyway. She says, yeah, what's up? However, even if she declines saying, no, you can't tell me anything, leave me alone, bozo, it wouldn't have stopped this maniac. He goes, no grill frimmed. So I believe he has entered this, like, flow state of horniness and it's clouding his vision, so he can't type properly. When we was in middle school, I wanted, period, to do this to you. And accidentally drops, like, a fucking hyperlink here. Do what? Like, when you were in skirt, I want to make you mine. Hope you don't get mad. What an outrageous creep. Hey, was just thinking about you in middle school, and how in middle school I wanted to make you mine. Don't get mad at me, tee-hee. Clearly caught off guard and uncomfortable, she goes, oh, it was a long time ago, no reason to get mad. And I think this emboldens him because she says, there's no reason to get mad. So he starts rubbing his hands together. Oh, okay. And then he sends a message that he deletes. He unsends it. So there was something so bad there that even this shameless sack of cringe was like, ooh, no, that's too far. I'm using my mulligan. So he unsends it. But the original poster here, she apparently saw it and said that the message he unsent was saying that he wanted to pull down her panties and put his fingers inside of her. And then he goes, if I were to do this to you, what, you let me? The way he talks is so frustrating. It's so broken and disjointed. It's like communicating with Dobby if Dobby was hitting whippets. Clearly, she declined such a generous offer, saying, no, I have a boyfriend. I mean, back in middle school. I wasn't interested in dating or sexual activity when I was in middle school. I wanted you really bad. Oh, okay. Gets him with the Eeyore really sad. Oh, okay. This is the craziest red flag conversation ever. This should be like a self-report straight to the authorities. This man is like dangerous, it seems. Perhaps that hyperlink he accidentally dropped in the beginning was a link to the sex offenders registry with his name and face on it. This is an adult man who's fantasizing about middle school. He's not even saying like, hey, I used to know you back then and had a crush on you. He is literally fantasizing about her in middle school and him wanting to finger her. That's concerning. And that's when all hell breaks loose. The mask fully comes off, the dam breaks, and he unleashes the demon. She says, I'm a bit confused as to why you're telling me this now, because obviously anyone would be confused getting this shit out of the blue. It's really creepy. And then he goes, 'cause dear. Oh, it's already such an awful fucking start. Dropping dear like this, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. In those days, I want to pull down your panties. Not even a little bit, dear. Or excuse me, not even a little bite, dear. You there, lol? Can I ask you a personal question? When you were in middle school, you there? He is so fixated on middle school in particular. That's the big thing for him here. And he keeps talking about pulling her panties down. It's so unhinged. You there? He keeps checking to make sure there's a pulse here, that she hasn't abandoned him and called the police or something. Can I tell you something that I want to do to you in middle school? Or you mad at me, Lou, lol. If you didn't have a boyfriend, you let me do things to you? You there? Surprisingly, she was still there and hadn't blocked him yet. So she says, no, because I'm not interested, I don't really know you at all. Somehow, she was able to resist his charm. I can't believe Casanova's silver tongue here was powerless against her. He says, I know, lol. Also, it's a bit weird that you're talking about a 12 to 13-year-old me and still being sexual about it. Exactly. It's so fucking weird. And then he just goes, hope you not mad at me for this things. And she says, please don't contact me again. The vibe I get from this guy is Freaky Fred from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Just reading what he keeps saying to her is so unnerving because he's talking about a middle school version of her. He's trying out that sexual predator riz here, I guess. and it did not work at all. I'm gonna bless you with a little bonus one here. Let me show you how not to flirt with someone you're interested in romantically. So it seems like they were talking a little bit before these screenshots were taken. He says, "You play video games? Like, other than Candy Crush and Pokemon?" And she goes, "Yep, what gave it away?" Cool. Not many chicks that are, like, into real games. This is just your classic flop from a Redditor gamer, bro. Ugh, girls only like Candy Crush or Pokemon, fucking Sims or Barbie Jeep Racing. They don't like real games like me, a fucking man. Call of Duty, Battlefield, BioShock, big rigs over the road racing, Madden 24. But you're different, m'lady. You're not one of those normal chicks that likes those fake games. You can appreciate these gems that I like. Most chicks can't do that. I don't know why. Must be periods and pheromones or something, but you are rare, m'lady. You like real games. Like, I just don't know why anyone would try something like this. It's just immediately confrontational. It makes you look like a whack loser. And everyone knows it too, so she calls that out saying, "Really? Gonna try that one? Because it's so pathetic." And he goes, "What? It was a compliment." And she just says, "Whatever." And then that really sets him off. So, a guy who you are already desired to be intimate with gives you a compliment, you get bitchy, and then he doesn't get a response, obviously, and then it comes back later saying, "Are you ignoring me now?" She said, "You live in a different country than me." But the fact that he immediately just gets this out of control, like, "What? It was a compliment. What? Most girls are stupid. Girls go to Jupiter to get more stupider. You didn't go to Jupiter. You stayed here with me, playing real games. Why are you getting so bitchy about it? I was being nice to you. Oh my goodness, nice guys never win. And now you're ignoring me? Oh God." He also just types like a Redditor, like his response being, "Why? A guy who you already desired to be intimate with shows you a little affection and gives you a little compliment and you get bitchy?" Like, that is the actual quintessential Redditor response right there. Just go full Poindexter on it. A man who you had already desired to be intimate with gives you a compliment. Then the whole conversation goes cattywampus and he decides to bring out the claws and just get mean. "You're a fucking cosplay girl. It's not like it's real work. You get paid to be hot for people." And then she just goes, "Yeah, it's not gonna work. Don't text me back. Goodbye." Totally reasonable response. This guy's just immediately shitting on her for nothing she did wrong. She's done nothing wrong at all. This guy's just a loose cannon. Women like you are always so sensitive. I'm just being honest about things. If you can't handle that, I don't think you intellectually compatible with me. Oh, all the Reddit check marks are being ticked right now. "I'm very sorry that you feel like I was being mean or sexist or whatever, but I wasn't. I hope you learn to be less bitchy. Men don't like that in women. And you're already past your good years." And they say chivalry is dead. That's how you do it, gentlemen. Excellent work here, and I have no doubt they're getting married soon. So he blames her for everything that went wrong. He seems to think she was being unreasonable and that he was just being honest, which is crazy. It's so sad how a conversation can go from seemingly normal to just being extremely combative because this guy is very insecure, I guess, about his video game taste or something. I have no idea. But he brings up video games in a hostile manner, saying like, "Oh, most girls don't play real games, but I guess you're not like most stupid girls." Like, I don't know why he can't see how no one would ever respond positively to that. And when she didn't respond positively to it, he immediately says that she's being bitchy. Just the slightest sign of her not really feeling what you just said there, and he just gets aggressive, and then gets even more mean and rude and nasty, and then still probably walks away from this thinking it was her fault. It's craziness. So he'll probably stay alone for most of his life, but luckily he's got so many great games to play by himself. So there's a silver lining there. At least he's a real gamer with those real games by his side. That's really about it. So yeah. Over the last couple of months, I've analyzed more text messages than the FBI. I have been glued to bad romance and flirting, like a moth to a flame. I've been wandering the deepest, darkest pits of filth. It's like in Space Jam when Michael Jordan gets sucked into the golfing hole. I've been sucked into the asshole of the internet and all I see is cringe down here. But today there's a new ingredient being added to this concoction. The recipe had a chemical X. Crime. This got posted to Reddit earlier today and a lot of people sent it my way, and it actually reminded me of a real criminal case that happened back in 2022, and I actually found the case again through the comment section of this post because I couldn't quite recall all the particulars of it, but there is a lot of similarities shared between that criminal case in 2022 and these text messages that this individual is showcasing here. So it starts with this girl's coworker messaging her out of the blue saying, "Hey." He receives crickets, no response, silence. And you know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, try being weirder. So he comes back around within 3 hours saying, "Hello? Is this blank?" She says, "Who is this?" And he goes, It's me," with a smiley face. "I just wanted to text you and see how things were." "Oh, things are going alright, I suppose. Not to come off as rude, but how did you get my number, dude? I mean, I don't mind you texting me, but I've never gave it to you." And that's when he lifts up the curtain and breaks the magician's code, revealing his secret method. "I just grabbed it off the contact sheet in the office room. Hope that's alright." To which she says nothing in response because that is fucking creepy. She never gave him her number. He just went out of his way to find it from their workplace. Yucky. But he comes back around saying, "How's it going?" And he just keeps going, throwing questions at the wind here, hoping to receive even the slightest semblance of life on the other side, not realizing that he has already scared her by snooping around tracking down her phone number without ever getting it from her directly. So it's already super creepy to do that. So he says, "How was your New Year's?" No response. 2 days later. "Sorry to keep texting, but what are you up to today? If you're free later, I'd love to go out." I will never understand that kind of shit right there. How can you be so deluded and lost in your own little fantasy land Narnia that you think there's even an iota of a chance that she agrees to go out with you when she has ignored your messages for 4 fucking days? Like, what is the thought process? Scratching at his chin. Maybe she's playing hard to get. Perhaps she's just been truly swamped and has been really wanting to reply to me but just might be a bit shy and doesn't know how. I know. I'll go ahead and invite her out with me. That should make her a lot more comfortable. And he goes a bit deeper. "I know you're probably busy, but I could pick you up too, so you wouldn't have to take the bus anywhere. If you wanted to go out, that is. Sorry to keep texting, but I don't want to be out too late, so I'd appreciate a response at some point, smiley. I'm heading out to get coffee now, so if you want to join me, just let me know." "Ma'am, you better hurry. The choo-choo train is leaving and Mr. Perfect is going with it. You only have one opportunity to get coffee with a gentle sir like this, so you really gotta play your cards right." She declines, saying, "I would appreciate it if you didn't text me unless it's work-related. I don't really know you, and I'm only blank. You're 5 years older than me, dude. This just feels creepy." "I didn't mean to be creepy or anything. You're just pretty, and I thought it would be cool if we got to hang out, smiley." "No thanks. That's honestly so weird, and if you continue to ask, I'm going to talk to Lean about this." I'm assuming that's like their supervisor or someone higher up at the place they work. And then he goes in deep. He says, "I'm not gonna lie. I've been thinking about you a lot, and I just want you to spend time with me. What you said the other day just felt rude. At least try and give this a chance. I know you're probably not awake, but I've been up all night thinking about you. Not going to lie, sometimes I like to take pictures of your ass while you're in the drive-thru window and I jerk off to them in the bathroom." I'll go ahead and take a courtesy pause here to give everyone a brief respite and let that nugget marinate in this sauce here because he just dropped a real heavy, spicy meatball on the plate. And when I first read it, I certainly wasn't ready for that because that's just openly admitting to a crime. I'm not a sheriff or anything, but I'm pretty confident that that's illegal. He'd probably be taken away in handcuffs if this information got out, which it should. She should absolutely report all of this. Now, somehow it actually only gets worse from here. This is just the beginning. He's showing his true face, and man oh man, is it an extraordinarily ugly one. I know that's messed up, but imagine if we fucked in the work bathroom, or if we went out in public. I honestly just love the idea of having a little helpless bitch under my control. I know you're so much younger, but you should give it a shot. Older men can be so much fun to be with. No one at work would have to know. Hello? Sorry for calling, but I'm really lonely and you haven't replied to me at all. Since the text messages are going unanswered, I guess he's resorted to actually just calling her, which is also being ignored, obviously, because that's the safest thing you can do is ignore it. So I can't believe the revelation that it turns out he's lonely. Who would have seen that coming? With smooth talking like this dude's got all the game in the world. This man's a fucking apex predator, a grizzly bear, a champion of Riz here. I can't believe that he, of all people, would somehow be lonely. What a curveball. He then tries to brush all that under the rug, trying to apologize for it. Sorry about last night. I got carried away. I know you're probably not even reading these, but I hope you have a good day, smiley. I'll be thinking of you. I really don't see an issue. It's not like a romantic date or anything. It would just be getting coffee and food. And if you were in the mood, we could always go to my place to watch a movie. I know it sounds creepy, but why not just get out and enjoy the day together? What in the hell is even that? What are you talking about? It's not like a romantic thing or anything. You were just talking about fucking in the workplace bathroom. And then you were talking about having a helpless bitch under your control. What do you mean it's just coffee? You're already showing how extraordinarily creepy and perverse you are. What are you yapping about? He's blabbermouthing about a bunch of hooey. And that's when she finally does respond to all this and says, "Alright man, I'm probably going to report you to the police. You know damn well that I'm underage and you're texting me in the middle of the night like that. Fuck off." And then he drops her address and says, "If you continue to ignore me, I'll just make it so you can't. If you tell anyone, I'll make this even worse for you." So it turns out she's underage, and he was well aware of that fact. And he also would have been even more aware of that fact, considering he snooped through the confidential workplace documents to find her address and her phone number. So it would have been abundantly clear that she is underage, and he didn't care. He still went for this full throttle. So he's also a pedophile on top of all of this. Now, he concludes their conversation by dropping her address to obviously try and scare her, letting her know that he knows where she lives and he can always pay her a visit. And a lot of people in the comments, and I think a lot of people in general, would assume that that's just supposed to be like some kind of scare tactic to get her to not say anything. Not necessarily that he's going over there right this instant to do something, but that is still a legitimate threat, and I imagine an actionable threat that the authorities can use. This is one of those situations that really shouldn't be taken lightly, and it seems like it isn't. It seems like she's taken the proper measures here, like contacting authorities or contacting workplace staff and all that, which is what she should be doing, because this is just legitimately dangerous. I mentioned at the start that it reminded me of a case from 2022, where a man killed his 17-year-old coworker because he had a huge crush on her, and since he couldn't have her, nobody could. Her name was Riley Whitelaw, and she was murdered at her place of work by this individual. He recently got sentenced in October of 2023 for the murder, and it is just horrifying. Now, Riley had previously made a complaint to the employment about how uncomfortable he made her with like the advances that he would make on her and all of that, and even asked to like have her schedule changed so they wouldn't have to work together. And despite all of that, they still worked together. The place of employment did not change her schedule around to get her away from him or anything like that. They continued to work together despite all of her complaints until it eventually culminated with him killing her. It's a tragic story. Fucking horrifying. And it reminds me of the text messages we just read right there, where a coworker becomes infatuated with someone and then eventually does something disgusting like that. So reading through these text messages, it is a concerning individual in a scary situation. And it's something I think about from time to time about how awful it must be to just be doing your job, doing nothing wrong at all, and then still ending up in a situation like this. This girl never made any advances toward this guy. She never even gave him her number or anything at all. And yet somehow he still became obsessed with her and then stalked her company documents to find her phone number and her address and all of that. It's just so awful. She's literally just doing her job and then gets put in a situation like this because of this absolute lunatic. So yeah, just wanted to talk about it a little bit. I think situations like these should always be taken seriously. Like if a coworker or anyone for that matter starts to get like a level of obsession with you that it becomes a bit palpable, that you can start to see it, it immediately needs to be something that you take very seriously because you never know where it could lead. And I think that is just always something that needs to be handled with real care. So just wanted to go over this a little bit. That's really it. So yeah. It's been a little while since I dropped some hot, steaming, creepy text messages on all of you, and I think we are long overdue for some more, so Coach called me off the bench and I'm about to provide. But something a little different here. The text messages I'm going to show aren't like the standard weirdo, unhinged, lunatic type behavior, but I think it's something that a lot of people might be able to learn from. So, to give a little background, the poster here, she mentioned that she had gone on one date with this guy and knew him for like 2 months, and the date didn't go super well. And then we fast forward to this interaction that we're about to cover, and the reason why I think this is a teachable moment is because I feel like this is something maybe a lot of people do without realizing it's not a good idea, and there's actually hints of old Charles in these text messages here. Deep in the flavor profile of these embarrassing texts we're about to go over, I see myself staring me in the mirror when I was but a wee lad, a young man. The very first time I got a girl's number that I was interested in, I was giddy. It felt like I had just won the Super Bowl, and I couldn't stop texting her, even when I wasn't getting responses, which is a big no-no. That is a huge, unforgivable sin. You don't do that because it's annoying. And sometimes if I didn't receive a response after my like fourth text in a row within a like 20-minute period, I'd just be like, oh man, shucks, she hates me, zoinks, I blew it. And then I'd still send like another 3 texts, and I know I mentioned this before at one point, but sometimes I'd get so like desperate and like begging for a response that I'd send her little ASCII art of stick figures. It's so bad. Actually, I was worse than the guy in the messages we're about to cover, but his is floating around, and I really think it's important that people realize that that's just not how you should communicate with anyone. Not even just someone that you're interested in, just anybody in general. No one likes to just be pestered. So let's begin. I am believing right now you might be my kryptonite. Need to hang out more, but I'm pretty sure you're my kryptonite. I'm good with anyone, and they will probably be my best friend once they are done. Just what I'm used to. I don't really know what that means, if I'm being honest. What do you mean, she's your kryptonite? It's supposed to be cute and romantic, but I don't really get it. That's kind of like an insult to her. Like, look, you're bad for me. You literally poison me. You make me sick, is basically what that's saying. It's not really that romantic, but I think he's trying to mean it in like a sweet way. But anyway, she says, sorry I can't talk right now, I just got my son from school, give me a second. Which is totally reasonable. She's giving a response letting him know that she can't really properly respond to whatever conversation's trying to be started from this cold open. And he goes, okay, sounds good, enjoy your time with them please. Cody is about to get home, and then we're gonna go play some skee board, and I'm drinking, and then sends a picture of the beverage. He must have been butt-chugging that Miller Lite there, because then things really fly off the rails. Feels kind of weird being in Wichita Falls. I love it though. Let's have a good time. Can I call you? I miss you already. Sorry to call, just wanted to talk to you. I'm guessing he tried dialing her there and didn't get a response. I don't want to be one of those guys that just be passionate about anything, but in the instance I was passing about you, there's a couple things in society that you go through. I don't know what type of Confucius wisdom he was trying to drop there. There's a whole lot of words in that vomit, and none of it translates to anything in that sentence. I don't know what was even said there. That is a real head-scratcher. Where's life and just live, but nothing truly measures to you meeting up and having a good conversation. I like you. I like you a lot. My friends coming from all destinations have a party tonight. I hope you're there. I hope you have school, please deem that necessary. Please deem your boy necessary. I love our conversation, but I'm probably the best dude you ever know. Big red flag. Anyone that identifies as a nice guy or the best guy you ever know, hey, probably not going to be the best guy you ever know. Yeah, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. If you're tooting your own horn, that horn's gonna be stinky most of the time here. But me saying that, I don't know. But you are a princess to me. Sorry to text you so much, as I'm not a texter. Do you need to call me? I'm there. I'm leaving Cheddar's now, about to hang out with one of my friends. He's meeting me here. Heart. And she finally responds saying, I'm sorry, I have class in a minute, I'm trying to rush through everything quick as can be. Again, totally understandable, she has already said that she is busy. So it's probably not a good idea to just fucking flood her phone with all this spaghetti that's fallen out here. So let's break this down. He's clearly very excited. And there's nothing wrong with being excited. Being excited's great, but maybe dial it back when you're not getting responses. He talks about loving their conversation. Brother, there's no conversation except for the one you're having with a ghost right now. There's nothing happening in these messages. You are speaking to yourself. To me, it seems like he started panicking when he wasn't getting a response in a time period he felt was acceptable, so then just kept sending more and more text messages on top of it, just bombarding her. And then he sent another picture of, I believe, them out and about. Another thing is, I don't think just sending a bunch of pictures is a good idea either when you're not getting responses. That makes it seem very desperate. Just let this sit for a bit. Just let it ruminate. Let her marinate on this and get back to you when she's not busy. You don't need to keep sending these text messages, which is a lesson that I and many others have learned. You don't want to just keep texting endlessly if you're not getting responses. There's this unspoken rule, I suppose, about, double texting or the forbidden jutsu of a triple text. Of course, it's mainly a meme, but there is some real logic behind it. If you're texting with someone and they're not really responding, it's not really a good idea to just keep pressing that. Either they're not interested, which is fine, it happens, or they're busy. And in either one of these cases, sending more text messages is only going to serve to make things much more uncomfortable and worse all around. Girl, be you, that's all that I want, but I do want to see you. And then sends this creep shot of just two women at the bar they're at, two older women. And then he goes, "So Cody and I are about to take these ladies home," laughing emojis. "I swear to God, two old ladies about to take us home. I want to see you. You in class?" This is just really weird. This is bizarre. Where is this coming from? Why are you taking a photo of just two random ladies claiming they're trying to take you home or something? Shit's getting a little loopy here, and it's still not hitting. She's still not responding because, again, she has already explained she has class. She is busy here. Now, the way he's texting makes me feel like he's drunk at the very least, because it's almost incoherent, like babbling, saying nothing. It's so many messages to say nothing. Like, what do you mean? I hope you deem your boy necessary or whatever. Like, what is going on? Like, this is... You shouldn't be texting right now. What you need is some Pedialyte and just rest and recuperate. So she finally responds again saying, "I'm in class, I'm sorry. I don't know what the price that needs to be paid. Just really love the time we had. Might be getting soft." And she's as confused as I am. "What do you mean, lol?" "Me sure who I am is the price I mean." I appreciate the explanation, Yoda. Again, what? Huh? Another picture of some beverages here. "We're about to move. Dude thinks he is prettier than me. What the fuck? I told me I can pull more chick than you, bro." Had me cracking up. "Just move to the side and have fun, bro," is what I told him. And then sends a picture of a song that he's listening to. I don't know what's happening in the lore right now. He's treating these text messages with this girl like it's his diary. Or like he's live blogging his life right now in real time, live tweeting in these texts. It's baffling. I also think he's making it up. Like, I don't understand what this is supposed to be. "You won't believe this. Guy said he could pull more chick than me." Ha! I couldn't stop laughing. It reminds me of that really shitty advice that people used to preach about, convince a woman that you're desirable by making it seem like other women are vying for your attention and time. Like, fake a phone call or something. "Pardon me, madam, I'm getting a phone call." "Yes, Stacy." "No, the pussy appointment was canceled. We can have sex another night. I'm busy. It's boys' night." I'll call you back." Alright, goodbye. Sorry, this girl, she always wants to fuck me. But anyway, what was your name again? Like one of those things where it's like, oh wow, this guy's got so many girls are interested in this guy. I mean, maybe I should be interested too, was the line of thought. That's what those text messages scream to me, that he's just making that whole situation up right there. Because what random dude's gonna come up saying that he's prettier than him and that he can pull more chicks than him? Just a total stranger. That's not like a human interaction that would ever happen. Some dudes smell like ass. Laughing emojis. My goodness. Why are you telling her this? Like, what is the response even supposed to be? And then he just sends like another random photo of someone playing pool. Presumably him playing pool, I guess. I don't know. He just keeps sending all these fucking photos of beer, two old ladies, him, beer, pool. Why? It's not a picture book. It's supposed to be text messages, like a conversation, but there's no conversation. Stop fucking texting. And he just says, haha. And she responds again, finally, after a bit of a drought, saying, that's nice. I mean, yeah, that sums it up. Like, what are you supposed to say to this? Just, oh, cool. Oh, interesting. Nice. And then he goes, not without you. We are at Deep Eddies. My goodness, lol. You are going to be able to come out? We will come pick you up. Am I going to be able to see you before the night over with? Like, he's going full caveman mode with a lot of these statements here. I think he has drank a lot over the course of the evening. And still, after all of these messages, nothing of value was said. It's just been weird. You've sent 30 messages to almost no response ever. So let the lesson be learned here to not just keep texting into the void. If you're not getting responses, don't force it. It's a bad idea to just keep sending text after text after text. This fool. And then she finally responds and she just gets right down to business. I don't want to be rude, but you knew I had class. I made it clear. I've been here an hour and a half and you have texted me 33 times compared to my 5 times. This was all... I bet a lot of you watching this thought that these text messages had come over the course of like a day or something. An hour and a half. Jiminy Christmas. I'm sorry, I do not want to pursue this any further. You don't understand boundaries or when someone isn't answering. Be safe. Have a good night. I think that is a very understandable, reasonable, and respectful way of just getting this across here. He clearly did not respect boundaries or respect that she was busy, so I think this makes complete sense. And he says, I won't text you anymore, nor will I ever message you again. Have a good life. My apologies did not mean any disrespect. I hope you climb mountains. I truly like you. Glad you disrespected me now so I know. I get it. Wow. And then that emoji, I don't really know what that emoji's supposed to convey here for the emotion. Told me that you would keep me updated. We have a good life. And then some more hand emojis. I mean, it could have been worse, I suppose. Yeah, anyway, just wanted to share this. Hopefully you learned something from it. That's about it. See ya. Speedrunning an intro here, I just learned about some of the most entertaining drama of 2024. I saw it through Evil Pineley's video covering the situation 2 weeks ago, and it is still going currently today. It's about the CEO of a parchment paper business losing his mind and having this whiny temper tantrum meltdown, all because he watched a TikTok video of a girl being cooked a meal by her father.
When I told my dad I was going to be getting him the same pants that Gordon Ramsay has, he was so excited. I'm talking about the hex-clad pants, and today...
It's a super innocent video of this girl's dad making a meal, and the CEO of parchmentpaper.com was angrier about this than he would be if he walked in on his wife having sex with another man. Though it is quite the stretch of imagination to envision this guy, this lunatic, with any kind of companionship in his life. So after watching this, he was infuriated, went on the actual company's business account, and left a mean comment, which started a series of events he couldn't have possibly foreseen.
I posted a video yesterday of my dad cooking for me with these hex-clad pants that we had gotten. There was a comment on there where the person goes, must be tough living a life on easy mode. I also didn't think the comment was rude at first, so I responded with, lucky to have parents who make it possible. And they responded, yeah, we get it. You have no skills and family money.
That's already such a weird comment right there. Must be nice living life on easy mode when it's just a girl getting cooked a meal by a caring father. Like, how bitter and miserable can your life possibly be to just see something like that and be like, I gotta give her a piece of my mind? That's a line that's usually used in reference to camming or OnlyFans or something. Must be nice living life on recruit difficulty because men are giving you a ton of money just to be hot or be naked or something. And this guy's taking that same energy and putting it into this situation where it's just a girl being cooked a meal by her father. Make it make sense. So he's so upset that he's doing this from the actual business account for parchmentpaper.com. So the Parchment Paper Patriot is really having a conniption. And then the poster responds saying, you know, it's supportive family, got lucky. She said she didn't even find it rude at first, which I don't know how you would see that as anything other than rude. But regardless, her response was super sweet, and he gets even more heated about that, fucking steam coming out of his ears, and goes, yeah, we get it. You have no skills and family money. What kind of projection is this? Holy insecurity. What do you mean you have no skills? All she did was show a video of her dad cooking her a good meal. It's ridiculous to assume that she has no skills. It's based on nothing. She could have bow hunting skills, nunchuck skills. She could be one of the most skillful human beings on the fucking planet. We have no idea. And then he's going, it's just your family's money. You're suckling off their bosom because your parents have money. What is happening here? Do you have no skills because you probably order Uber Eats all the time? Is your skill just ruining businesses? Like, I mean, that's a pretty cool skill, I guess. But anyway, this is only the beginning of his rampage, and he just fully self-destructs over the course of the next few hours. It's like Chaozu from Dragon Ball Z, when Chaozu latches onto Nappa and blows himself up, but the sacrifice was in vain because Nappa barely felt anything, really. That's what happens here. Parchment Paper Patriot blows up, and the girl, totally fine, and makes an absolute clown out of this guy. Dunks on him. She obliterates this man.
And at that point, I'm just like, okay, what the hell? Like, maybe this account is hacked, because from a business account, that seems kind of weird. So I send them an email and I'm like, hey, like, I think somebody's on your business account, like, leaving cyberbullying comments. Didn't say anything else. That was it. And then I get an email from the CEO of...
I think anybody in their right mind would assume that that business account is hacked, because what little toddler would be shitting their pants, soiling their diaper over something as simple as watching a TikTok video of a girl being cooked a meal by her father? So I think that's very sound logic. Oh, this account must be hacked. I'll let the business know. So she reaches out, and the CEO himself, Brandon Howard, steps forward, saying, I don't consider stating factual information is cyberbullying, but if you're offended over a comment about having no skill set while getting to frolic through life with family money as bullying, I'd call the cyberbully police. Delete the comment and move along. Cheers. Brandon, I think the department we need on this case is the Cringe police, because Jiminy Christmas, holy cannoli. Oh, he tried a facts don't care about your feelings moment there. What facts are we talking about? Her having no skill set? You have no idea who she is. You know nothing about her. All you watched was her get cooked a meal. I'm sure your parents cooked you meals at some point, right? Maybe they don't anymore because you're probably insufferable to be around, so they probably cut you off. I imagine that's the case, which is why you're so upset over this moment. I don't see at all how this would be indicative of her just frolicking through life, coasting off of her family's money. That's a unreal leap in logic based on nothing at all. And honestly, she was like a good Samaritan here, like looking out for your business, thinking that you might have been hacked because of how awful this behavior is and how terrible of a look it is for your business. And then you double down and make things significantly worse by being this big loser. Also, I love the chutzpah here from Big Baby Brandon to claim that she was offended over his comment, when this sensitive worm was offended first over her being made a meal. This guy needs to call the wambulance because he can't stop crying about this video of a father making a meal for his daughter.
Considering my parents literally grew up in mud huts, worked their ass off to get out of India, get us here, and get me into the position that I am and able to have a full-time job and a side career. Then he goes back to the page and goes, cyberbullying is even more funny, and the fact that you emailed us to tell us is actually hilarious. Enjoy frolicking through life and leave the rest up to us adults who create actual economic value without a trust.
Yeah, leave the heavy lifting up to the real adults, like Brandon Howard, CEO of parchmentpaper.com. It's comical that the parchment paper guy is trying to act hard here. Like, I don't know what he expected to happen. He just looks so stupid, claiming that she's like a trust fund kid based on nothing. Literally nothing. All just gobbledygook here. All you saw was a video of her getting made a meal by her father. How could you possibly connect all of these weird dots? To me, it seems like the person who's really frolicking through life on easy mode is you, who has unlimited time in the day to respond to random people on TikTok and leave comments that just let everyone know that you're an outrageous asshole. Like, you must not be doing that well business-wise, if that's what it's boiled down to here.
They did send me a legal notice. It came from info@parchmentpapers.com, and it says that they are really worried about the safety of their team, and if I don't remove the defamatory posts on TikTok, they will be taking legal action, which I don't believe it's defamatory
because it's not defamatory at all. All she did was share his comments, which are public, in that email, his statements, all from his mouth. This stupid douchebag is just doing one of those desperate Hail Mary maneuvers when they have nothing else left and trying their absolute best to save a sinking ship from the holes that they themselves have poked in it. And it doesn't work, and it actually leads to him looking like even more of a clown, because she points out some pretty interesting things about this cease and desist.
So yeah, like, I don't believe it's defamatory. I also don't believe you have a legal department because you signed it incorrectly. It says legal department at parchmentpapers.com. You forgot the dot. Did you forget to delete the part where it says, like, your contact information because you're using a template? And also, what's with the cease and desist? I thought it was CEASE. Who's doing your spell check?
Good heavens, Brandon Howard did some ayahuasca and tried to send a cease and desist and lost himself somewhere in the sauce. So apparently it was signed incorrectly from legal department at parchmentpapers.com. And then here's some more information on it, I suppose, where he left in your contact information in brackets. So, as she points out, that means he's most likely using a template here. That is actually that shit on a teleprompter where it's like, wait for applause, and you say it out loud, and you're like, ugh, I made a big boo-boo, because I wasn't supposed to read that. He fucking left that in. This absolute buffoon. And the goober doesn't even know what a cease and desist is. He did seize and desist. Holy shit. I think he's the only one that works at this company. Nobody else saw this before the email got sent out. His supposed legal department okayed this. If he does have a legal department, they need to be fired right now. They need to get fired yesterday, because that is a disgrace. That is not a legal document whatsoever. Fucking your contact information in brackets, cease and desist. You couldn't have made that any worse. This legal document he tried to send over is now more worthless than the parchment paper that he's built his life upon.
Another day, another email. This time you decided to fix the typos. Congratulations. And you also told me you're fixing the typos. Very interesting thing for your legal department to say.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. She is cooking him harder than the meal that her father cooked her in the first place that started all of this. I love how he proudly calls attention to fixing the typos. Like a student in class, like, excuse me, teacher, I fixed the spelling mistakes in the cursive. Fix the typos just in case you couldn't figure out we're very serious about this issue, as your direct actions to intentionally harm to us. Oh my god, the grammar is diabolical as well. And our company is not being taken lightly. We expect action to be taken within 48 hours. See attached. There's probably a picture of Brandon Howard's butthole here going spread goatsy on her. So, this is clearly, again, written by someone that is lacking a 4th grade education. Brandon, I think your first hire at parchmentpaper.com should be an English tutor for yourself here. This is bad. How you even attempt to run a business is beyond me. I guess they just let anyone into the parchment paper industry these days. But, yeah. So, Brandon again tries to strike back here. And, again, looks super dumb for it. But congrats on fixing the typos, idiot.
But your cease and desist at the bottom, I saw that it said rocketlawyer.com. So, of course, I had to call them and ask them, is this a real legal document? And they said no immediately. And they said this looks like a phishing scam and you should probably not respond.
Oh, God, even rocketlawyer.com's shooting spitballs at Brandon now. Just saying that, no, it's definitely not real. It's probably a phishing scam. Don't respond to it. Oh, what do you use the parchment paper for, Brandon? Honestly, it's almost poetic that the guy who owns a paper business can't read or write very well. I think that's poetic almost.
Anyways, then you decided you're gonna start using my work email, which is public, to sign me up for corn sites, for Scientology, but you forgot that those companies will actually send you the IP where the accounts were made from. And it's funny because it's pinging in California and I'm not in California, so... But I do remember that on Trustpilot, when you had your address up, it was coming up in California. Suspicious, huh?
Brandon's out here collecting L's like they're the Infinity Stones. He is greedy for that shit. He can't stop losing. And I can't stop thinking about how he signed off that legal document about, like, having 48 hours to comply or whatever, trying to give it, like, a deadline. Like, this is the ultimatum. You've got to do it within 40 hours, or else it's gonna get serious if you couldn't tell. That's just so lame. Like, I feel like he must have just watched Mission Impossible at some point. This message will self-destruct upon finishing. That kind of thing, and he tried to channel that into this document here to give, like, a sense of urgency, but it falls so flat.
But you want attention so freaking bad because you will not stop talking about this. You are basically the only one who is still talking about this at this point. Since my initial email to you where I thought your company was hacked, I have not tried to contact you. At first, you were laughing and sipping Mai Tais on the beach, and then you were having crybaby sales because this was drawing you so much attention.
So this video is only 3 days old, which is weeks after Brandon's biblical meltdown, and he's still going on about it. So this is a screenshot from his crybaby special, which, oh my god, the irony almost makes me sick. This fucking guy lacks self-awareness to an almost delusional degree. He is the only one that has been crying. He started with the waterworks and the French cries because he watched a girl get cooked a meal by her father. He is the crybaby, and yet he's still trying to push it on everyone else like they're the problem. Our thousands of real customers will appreciate this. On sale, custom dimensions on demand. Boy, howdy, Brandon. Custom dimension parchment paper? I'm out the door. I gotta get on that right now. All these real customers are probably just so excited by this. Nothing makes me believe in a company quite like them referring to their customers as the real customers. I'm sure there's probably dozens of them. Dozens.
Your fake legal letters were not working. You thought it would be a smart idea to reach out to my boss at the agency that I work for and ask him to remediate the situation for you. You thought you could tell my boss to tell me to delete my videos. Just because you involved your business by commenting from your business profile does not mean that you get to include my place of work.
Pathetic, slimy tactics from an absolute greaseball here. So he apparently contacts her boss to try and whine to him to fix it, which obviously didn't do anything. Brandon, this is so sad. This is so embarrassing.
When all of this failed, you thought it would be a great idea to send me one more email stating that you will deal with it as you see fit, whatever the hell that means. And then you decided to add this banner to your website. I'm sure you think that
this is when it gets so spicy. We do not support woke feminist cancel culture hate mob groups who do nothing positive in our community. On his official parchmentpaper.com website, this guy has lost his marbles. He's off his gourd right now. He's going sicko mode. Brother, what are you even talking about? All she did was showcase your comments and made fun of you. What is the woke feminist cancel culture movement here? You made yourself look stupid and people clowned on you for it, rightfully so. You are the problem. And also, didn't you just try one of those cancel culture maneuvers by contacting her boss and her place of work to get her in trouble because of you and your beef with her? How can you lack self-awareness to this degree? It's almost criminal, I would say. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. So, he's got this now proudly posted on his website at that point, and I also love how he says that she does nothing positive for the community. When you came out of nowhere, the negative Nancy, just saying that she lives life on easy mode and has no skills and relies on her family's money, all just because she had a video of her father cooking for her. What are you talking about? What positive shit do you bring to the world, Brandon? Now, I will say, that section right there is just so outlandish with the woke feminist cancel culture mob being on the paper's website. It's so over the top that I half believe that might actually be faked by somebody, and I also struggle to believe that Brandon would be competent enough to even put that on his website in the first place. I just don't think he has the capability to do that, and I really don't think he has a team around him. I think it's just him. So I think that one might not be real, but to argue against that point, his statements on the official Black Label Paper Instagrams echo that same sentiment about like the woke cancel culture mob and all of that shit. So there is a chance that it's real. Like, there is a very good chance that it's real, but I do want to put it out there that I haven't been able to 100% confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is, because as of right now, it's not on the website. But he could have just deleted it after backlash.
But you continue to talk about it, you continue to make stories about it, and you continually want the attention. As if all of this was not enough, you decided that you were going to start making all of your stories on your Black Label Paper account involving your other company now for no apparent reason. Take down another company, why don't you?
So this is his other business that he's now calling in off the bench for this drama. I cannot imagine why he thought that'd be a good idea, but it's Black Label Paper. So all of his businesses are parchment and paper related, and I would wager a guess that the quality of his product is most likely atrocious, probably not even like worthy to be toilet paper if I had to guess. So he goes, all you fucking losers need to stop messaging us about a fake TikTok account made by then her and her dumb-ass minions because her fragile little ego couldn't handle a couple smart-ass comments on IG about skill set and money. I've never had the commie bullshit app TikTok in my entire life. A bold-faced lie. Also, why would you be posting this on your business account again? Like, your real customers that didn't know about any of this are now being made aware of it, and you look so weak and pathetic in all of it. And tell that little... Oh my god. Oh, what? Oh, I can't even read these. Holy shit. Fucking losers, I swear, it's been 2 weeks almost and still have to deal with this childish bullshit. You are the only one keeping it up, by the way. You are the only one that still is doing this and engaging with it. No one else is talking about it. This drama it's dried up. It's gone stale. But he keeps putting it on people's radar. He keeps serving this up on a plate to us. He's cooking it for us. And we're eating it. He's doing it. He's the chef. She is too immature to settle this privately, and I'm not going to let some woke hate mob ruin my reputation because they live in some mystical fairyland of make-believe and think because they have 20k followers they're doing something in life. Clown emojis. I also can't help but laugh at how much he keeps trying to throw out woke, cancel culture, all of that kind of shit. Just a bunch of buzzwords that don't even apply here, because all that happened was she showed these comments from a laughably embarrassing CEO that he publicly made and then shared his email where he doubled down on it. That's it. It's all his fault. There's nothing else beyond that. And he just can't accept it. He can't come to terms with reality because he lives in the mystical fairyland. Like, he's in the fucking Narnia. Nobody else. It's just him. Here's another one of his posts, this time on a really cute background. He talks about Business Insider and some articles reaching out for a comment. Some fragile ego wannabe influencer IG about their lack of skill set and frolicking through life, where she got so offended and cited the woke hate mob smear campaign against me to get me canceled. Fake accounts were made by her delusional woke followers. He just keeps sprinkling that in there as much as possible, just trying desperately. I cleared up the reality of the situation with all three media outlets. It didn't fit their narrative either, which was to further extend the adult children drama. God. So after 9 years in business, 3 business publications don't care about the good I've done and the help I give to people on a daily fucking basis. Yeah, I'm sure your parchment is invaluable. I'm sure you're doing a great service. You really seem like a stand-up gentleman. Their entire goal is just to hate people who try and do good. You really seem like you're striving to do good, Brandon. You really fucking do, brother. Yeah. What a saint. Oh, they demand respect yet do absolutely nothing to earn it and hate every person who doesn't bend over for their spineless agenda. If you're going to try and shit on me, my brand, business, and companies, you losers need a job, hobby, life outside of TikTok. Fucking losers in their 20s with an 11-year-old intelligence, but yeah, I'm the asshole. Yeah, you are the asshole, Brandon. Also, you're the one with the 11-year-old intelligence. You can't even read and write properly. You tried to make a legal department, like to cosplay as a legal department, and couldn't even get the emails correctly. Typos out the wazoo, and even in the ones where you fix the typos and even proudly proclaim that you fix the typos, you still make a typo. You suck. Like, you are the one with the child brain.
Sure what your end game here is, and I'm not even sure that you know what your end game here is, but in your own words, I don't have time to bicker back and forth about some nonsense comments, nor is it my problem that you're offended over them.
Yeah, that about sums that up. I think she did a great job of just closing the book on it with that final statement there. Fucking fire. I think this whole drama has been so wacky. Like, entertainingly silly. All over nothing. It started over nothing. Just a really insecure, sensitive guy who lost his mind. And couldn't help but do as much damage to him and his business's reputation. And very impressive stuff. I had to talk about this when I learned about it. Huge thanks to Pinely for showing me this, because this is This is gold. This is some of that, like, top tier drama. You know what I mean? So I had to talk about it. That's about it. See ya.